Imagine logging onto your favorite site and being told you can't view a Rickroll meme or support group forum without uploading a selfie and your government ID. Sounds like something from a dystopian novel, but it's fast becoming reality thanks to a law thousands of miles away.
You're talking about the UK's Online Safety Act, right? It's wild how a British law could end up deciding what Americans see, say, and even how private we are online.
Exactly. Today, we're tackling how the UK's new rules don't just stop at their borders. They're bulldozing American privacy, free speech, and even the legal protections we fought for.
Stick with us as we break down what's actually in the OSA, how it forces US companies to act as digital cops, the massive risk to privacy and anonymity, and why this could set a dangerous global precedent. By the end, you'll know exactly what's at stake and what we can do about it.
Let's start with what the OSA actually does. The law claims it's about protecting kids online, but the tools it uses are intense. Biometric age checks, ID uploads, even scanning your private messages.
And here's the kicker. The OSA doesn't just hit British companies. If you're a US platform, even without a UK office, you're on the hook. If a single Brit logs in, we're talking fines up to 10% of global revenue. For smaller sites, that isn't just a slap on the wrist. It's a death sentence.
That forces American companies to overhaul their systems, often making everyone jump through hoops just in case. You can't neatly separate UK traffic, so those ID checks and surveillance tools spread everywhere.
What blows my mind is how this bulldozes our own laws. California's CCPA, COPPA for kids' privacy. Even the Fourth Amendment, they're all thrown under the bus just to comply with a UK regulator.
Let's talk encryption, because this is where things get even scarier. The OSA lets UK regulators demand that platforms scan private, even end-to-end encrypted messages for harmful content.
That's not just a UK problem. If platforms weaken encryption to comply, Americans lose out too. Remember the Apple versus FBI standoff? US courts blocked a similar backdoor. Now the UK is trying to force it through the back door, so to speak.
It's not just about stopping illegal material, it's the risk of creating global vulnerabilities. Build a backdoor for the UK, and you're inviting hackers, state actors, or anyone with bad intent to exploit it. No one's safe.
And the loss of anonymity is huge. With all these age gates and ID checks, suddenly anyone who wants to explore sensitive topics, get mental health support, or just speak freely online has to risk tying their real-world identity to it. That's chilling.
What's really tragic is how these rules, meant to protect children, end up harming vulnerable people instead. The broad definitions of harmful content mean LGBTQ+ support groups, abuse survivor forums, or mental health communities get swept up in the dragnet.
It's such a blunt instrument. When Reddit tried to comply, even harmless or supportive spaces were stuck behind biometric walls. People who need safe, anonymous support are suddenly forced to out themselves or just give up.
And it cuts both ways. Anonymity protects all sorts of folks, conservatives in liberal areas, whistleblowers, people exploring identities. If you need an ID or a selfie just to join a discussion, a ton of people get locked out.
Plus, not everyone even has government ID on hand. Think immigrants, the elderly, or people in crisis. So the act doesn't just block bad actors. It excludes huge swaths of the population from online life.
Here's what keeps me up at night. If the UK pulls this off, what stops countries like Russia or China from copying it? They'd love to claim child safety as an excuse to demand backdoors or outright block sites that don't comply.
Exactly. And the OSA isn't just theory. It's already led to some sites shutting down for UK users, while bigger ones roll out surveillance for everyone. That puts our own privacy and freedom on the chopping block.
Even US agencies and digital rights groups are sounding alarms. Lawsuits, trade pressure, and reciprocal legislation are all on the table, but we need average people to understand what's happening and speak up.
If we don't draw a line now, we're opening the door for a world where any country can dictate how Americans use the internet. That's not security, that's surrendering our rights.
So, quick recap. First, the OSA's global reach forces US platforms into privacy violations that contradict our own laws. Second, weakening encryption and forcing ID checks risks everyone's security and anonymity. Third, vulnerable groups, LGBTQ+ folks, abuse survivors, people without government IDs get hit the hardest.
And here's what you can do. Start by contacting your representatives to demand they push back against foreign laws that undermine American privacy. Lawsuits and policy pressure matter, but public outcry is how we actually shift the conversation.
We don't have to accept imported surveillance or age gates as the new normal. Thanks for listening and standing up for freedom, because your privacy tomorrow depends on what we do today.
Stay curious, stay vigilant, and remember, live free or get age gated. Catch you next time.